What is happening with some of these elite players across the league? Slow starts from struggling stars 2 weeks into the NHL regular season. We got to talk about it. All of that and more on today's episode of the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast.
You're Locked On Fantasy Hockey, your daily podcast on fantasy hockey.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast, making it your first listen every single day. I'm your host, Steele Roden, flying solo on a Wednesday episode. We're getting after it today. Big time bets at the end of the episode. We have to talk about some of these struggling stars from both the Western and Eastern conferences right now. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the names on the board that we'll be talking about on today's episode. Elias Pettersson, Zach Hyman, Rasmus Dahlin, Owen Tippett, and Matty Beniers, all struggling 2 weeks into the NHL regular season, 7 games or less in. It has been a struggle for some of these elite players that we hold dear and near to our hearts, especially if you've drafted them for your fantasy hockey team, especially Elias Pettersson, Zach Hyman, Rasmus Dahlin, guys who are going in the first 3 rounds of your fantasy hockey draft. We're going to get to big time bets at the end of the episode. We're starting off the week hot. Went 3 for 3 on Monday. We went 3 for 3 on Tuesday, and we're hoping to go 3 for 3 on Wednesday's bets. We're getting after it. Let's start with that elite player out in the Western Conference, though. Elias Pettersson has to be the first player we talk about, and it has been a big time struggle for the Vancouver Canucks, as well as just Elias Pettersson. Signed that $92.8 million deal with the Vancouver Canucks back in March, early March 3rd, I believe it was. And pretty much since then, since March 25th, actually, of 2024, he's played in 29 games, both the end of the regular season last year, in the playoffs, and the first few games he's played so far this season as well. In those 29 games, he's had 2 goals. Both have come on the power play, 13 points total, and shooting at a whopping 3.8% shooting percentage in that time. So going back to the end of the regular season last year, the playoffs, and the beginning of this season, in those 29 games, he's only put up 13 points. He has been struggling to find the back of the net. He's been struggling to find his game. He's been struggling to skate as it is. And I don't know if the knee injury, the tendonitis was re-aggravated, or if it's lingering in some degree. I don't know what's going on right now, but regardless of that, he's looked awful and has been awful in every single game pretty much to start the season for the Vancouver Canucks. He looks tired. He looks complacent with giving the minimum amount of effort when he steps on the ice. Sloppy skating, not using his feet at all to make any plays that we've seen him do in the past, especially 2 seasons ago with that career year. It just looks like he's not even trying to get better or elevate his game in any sense. And you know, maybe there, to some degree, it has to do with, you know, the departure of Elias Lindholm, who they started to find a little bit of chemistry toward the end of the regular season and in the playoffs last year. Maybe that has something to do with it. But regardless, when you make that amount of money, $92.8 million, I believe it's just over, I think it's $11.5 million AAV or 11.2, whatever it is. When you make that amount of money, he's actually the 5th highest paid NHL player this season. 5th highest, behind Artemi Panarin, Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, those guys. When you make that amount of money, it is unacceptable to go from that period of time with 13 points in 29 games, only 2 goals, both of them coming on the power play. The 5-on-5 play is just awful. He looks sloppy out there. It's unacceptable. You wanted to be paid like an all-star. You have to play like one, game in and game out. If you want to be taken as one of the best players in the league, you cannot be putting on a performance right now. And if you drafted him in the first round, I believe his ADP was in the second round. It was a 16.5 was his average draft position. If you drafted him that high, your team's hurting right now. I mean, it has to be, because that is a underperforming value from Elias Pettersson so far to start the season. 2 points on the year. The Vancouver Canucks obviously got off to a slow start, but it is not looking good right now. It's him and JT Miller. And this is why I was saying JT Miller is the number one guy you go to when it comes to Vancouver Canucks and fantasy hockey leagues. He fills out the peripherals. He's got the offensive, obviously Quinn Hughes up there as well. But This is unacceptable from Elias Pettersson. He needs to turn around in a big way because he's making a lot of money right now. He needs to turn it around, especially for all those fantasy GMs out there. We're going to shift over to another player in the Western Conference who has also started off the season very slow, struggling with his offensive production, and that's Zach Hyman from the Edmonton Oilers. I'm not too worried about Zach Hyman as I am with Elias Pettersson, because what you get from a Zach Hyman is the relentless work effort, the work ethic. This guy works like a dog, game in and game out. He demands that puck. He fights for that puck. And obviously, like I said, another slow start to the year for the Edmonton Oilers. A little bit shocking in the lack of production from our boy Zach Hyman. But I think we all understood that we were going to see a regression from this player after a prolific season last year, 54 goals in the regular season, 16 in the playoffs, a Stanley Cup Finals appearance. We understand that we were going to see a dip in goals and overall production from this player. But to come out and start this season like this, zeros across the board, 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 points, the peripherals, it is what it is. Obviously, it's just, a little bit of a bonus right now. That's all you're getting from him. Again, unacceptable from this type of player, especially when you play on a line with Connor McDavid. And now it's not just Zach Hyman. The Edmonton Oilers coming up very slow to start off the year. Like I said, 2-4-0. It's not just him, though. Evan Bouchard, only 1 point, 1 goal on the season. Nugent Hopkins, only 2 points on the year. Besides McDavid and Draisaitl, it really has just been those two guys producing. Jeff Skinner now getting into the mix a little bit. Matthias Ekholm getting those secondary assists. But the reason why I'm not so worried is, like I said, Zach Hyman's work ethic is relentless. He demands the puck. No matter what, he is going to somehow make a difference in the game, no matter what it is. If he's not getting on the score sheet, he's going to be physical. He's going to make those extra plays to get the puck retrieval in those corners. Like I said, also another key factor for why I'm not worried. Slow start to the season, slow start to the power play. Struggles on the power play so far for the Edmonton Oilers after being the most dominating power play last year in the playoffs and regular season. Only 1 goal so far on the man advantage this season, 6.7% on the power play. It's not good enough. That's going to change. We know Connor McDavid's going to get after it soon. Leon Draisaitl going to start getting after it, and Zach Hyman will too. There's good news. The good news is it's only up from here. So, like I said, he's still creating those high danger chances from his relentless work ethic, being the obnoxious guy that he is, going straight to the post, straight to the net. He is going to dig for those pucks, and he works like a dog every single shift. So he's going to quickly turn it around once this team gets going a little bit as well, like we saw last year. Connor McDavid, when you play with him, he's going to find you. He's going to facilitate. He's going to play make. Zach Hyman, all he has to do is keep doing what he's doing, and he'll get that lucky bounce. He'll get that first one, and the dominoes will fall from there. So I'm not worried about Zach Hyman as much as I am about Elias Pettersson. That is something to be very worried about with the play that he has shown us so far early on in the season. If you drafted him, good luck to you. Hopefully he turns it around soon. We're going to continue with some of these other players who have struggled so far to start the 2024-25 season. We'll get to big time bets at the end of the episode. But first, this episode is brought to you by Gametime. You shouldn't have to worry when buying tickets to your next big event. That's why I always use the Gametime app when I'm looking for tickets. It's the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. Gametime actually has a new feature called Gametime Picks that makes getting those tickets to your favorite live events even easier. They filter out all the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Gametime is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. Save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or event. Download the Gametime app today, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. This episode is also brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. The goal is very simple. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings pour in all season long. It is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. You can win 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. Austin Matthews, 5+ shots. Connor Hellebuck, 30+ saves. Rasmus Dahlin, 3+ hits. The possibilities are endless. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive this bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. And thank you so much once again for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. We couldn't be doing this without you. So thank you so much for all the love, all the comments, all the subscriptions we've been getting lately. We really do love the dialogue, the conversations, and all of your comments on the YouTube channel. So continue to leave your opinion. Let us know if we're wrong. Let us know if you agree with us. Let us know your thoughts on what's happening across the National Hockey League as well as with your fantasy hockey teams. We love it. We appreciate it. Thank you all so much for tuning in for today's episode of the struggling stars across the National Hockey League. That's what we're getting after right now. And who's not getting after it to start this year are the Buffalo Sabres. More specifically, Rasmus Dahlin, the captain, the young guy on the blue line, the young prospect who, again, we hold to a very high standard, especially going into this season. This is a team that has been heading in the right direction for many years now. They've got the right pieces. They've got some young, promising goaltenders in Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and Devin Levi, who are playing pretty decent so far this year. You've got great blue liners on the blue line. Rasmus Dahlin, Owen Power, Bowen Byram, all these guys as well. And the top 6 forward group should be getting after it. That is not the case so far to start off this season for the Buffalo Sabres. This one stings the most for me because, again, like I said, I've felt very strong about the direction the team is headed in. I've felt very strong about the pieces they've brought in. They seem to be fitting correctly. They seem to be meshing well, but then the season starts and it's the same BS you see time and time again with this Sabres team. Not getting it done on the power play, struggling on the penalty kill. Right now, some of their top players are not getting it done. Dahlin is the number one guy in this case. 2 points in 7 games to start the year. The Sabres are 0% on the power play. Very disappointing for them. Disappointing start for a guy that we projected, or at least I projected, to have 65+ points like he did 2 seasons ago. So other than the point production, the peripherals are still very solid with this guy. He's getting his shots. He's getting his blocks. He's getting his hits like we've seen him do over the last few seasons in the NHL. I'm not sure if it's a coaching thing. Maybe it's the coaching change that happened. Lindy Ruff coming back in and changing things up, the play style. I'm not sure what it is, but Rasmus Dahlin needs to get going because he is the guy they depend on to create those plays from the defensive zone and upwards. I know Bowen Byram, Owen Power, they got some skill set, but I really look towards Dahlin to make those plays, to be quarterbacking that power play and start facilitating and making those adjustments like we know he should be. Dahlin needs to be talked about in this sense because it is not the season for a guy who was drafted as high as the 3rd round, maybe even 2nd round in some formats for what he's doing right now. The value has not been showing for the Buffalo Sabres. I'm going to talk about these 2 players real quickly. One from the Eastern Conference, one from the Western Conference, Owen Tippett and Matty Beniers. Now, different scenarios for both guys. Tippett is owned at 87% right now in Yahoo. Matty Beniers at 15% in Yahoo fantasy leagues as well. So these guys, honestly, the teams seem very similar at what stages of the stage of where they are right now in the organization and the direction they're in, kind of, up and coming a little bit. They've got some young players who they're looking forward to, kind of show some promise this season. Beniers being one of them once again after, a strong rookie year, but slow starts for both these young, promising young guns. 2 points combined in 11 games. Really worried about the confidence level with Beniers and the ability to change the game and make a difference away from the puck because, again, we go back to his rookie season, and I'll get his stats up right now. We go back to his rookie season, and the guy was putting on an absolute show. I believe he won the Calder Trophy that year as well. But it's just the last 2 years, there's been a very clear disarray from what he's been able to do in the past. And again, I'm just getting the stats up right now, but Matty Beniers it's a struggle to watch him play right now. And they actually have Shane Wright projected as the number 1 center for the time being for the Seattle Kraken. I mean, yeah, you go back to his rookie season, he put up 57 points. He had 24 goals. He was a +14. The year after, he puts up 37 points in 77 games. He's got 1 assist in 6 games played so far this season. He has 14 shots. I mean, he's getting some opportunities, not high danger scoring opportunities, but nevertheless, he's getting those opportunities, just can't capitalize on them. And there seems to be a confidence level that is just not there like we saw 2 seasons ago. So I'm worried about Matty Beniers if you've got him. I know there's been some comments on the YouTube channel. If there is a player even remotely better than Beniers, I would very much consider dropping Beniers at this point in the season. I know it's still early on, but you can always pick him up when he starts to catch a little bit of heat, a little bit of fire later on in the year. Owen Tippett, not worried about this player. 87% rostered, like I said, on Yahoo Leagues. Isn't scoring. He's making a difference, though, away from the puck. The physicality, the edge that he brings with this Flyers organization. He could be considered a Banger League beauty. Doesn't get enough penalty minutes. He plays a very clean game, very clean, very skilled guy, but he does lay the boom. He's got a load of talent to score goals and make those tremendous plays, like I said. But like I said, he can bring the boom at 6'1", 210 pounds. Flyers power play is very solid so far this season. They're just over 22% on the power play. So again, things are going to start clicking a little bit more offensively. Michkov in the mix now. Travis Konechny still hasn't really got going. Morgan Frost has been very promising to start this season off as well. We're just waiting for Owen Tippett to kind of, again, get that monkey off his back, get the first goal of the season, and things will start flowing very well for this young stud who can bring the boom, bring the physicality, but has a lot of skill set to score goals and make those plays for his teammates. So I'm not worried about Owen Tippett. Very worried about Matty Beniers. If you got him, very much suggest dropping him at this point in the year. Wait till he starts catching a little bit of heat, some fire, and then pick him back up when the opportunity strikes. We're gonna get over to big time bets. Only one game on the schedule. All 32 teams were in action on Tuesday night. The Flyers and Washington Capitals playing once again in a back-to-back, this time in Washington. We're gonna get to that and more after the break with big time bets. But first, this episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. Hey, NFL fans out there, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com, America's #1 sportsbook. And once again, thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. Continue to smash that subscribe button, the follow button, leave a 5-star review. Let's set out a goal right now for 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We'll start off the year hopefully over 2,000. We're at, I believe, 1,735 subscribers on the channel right now. It's grown so much over the summer, so we got to show some love once again to you all out there for holding us down and showing the support, showing the love. But let's set out that goal. Let's get us to 2,000 subscribers by the start of the new season, or the new year, 2025. We're going to leave it in your hands, leave it out to you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, making this your first listen every single day. Now let's get over to big time bets, where the money is made. Like I said, we're starting off this week hot. One game on the schedule Monday. Toronto Maple Leafs, Tampa Bay Lightning, Nylander, anytime goal, bang. Marner, anytime assist, bang. Kucherov, anytime assist, bang. We go 3 for 3 in back-to-back nights, Monday, Tuesday. We're looking for a big night Wednesday. One game on the schedule. You know what it is, the same game parlay. First pick of the night. Ovechkin, 4+ shots in this matchup. He's been absolutely firing the biscuit in the last two games. For the Washington Capitals. And again, just waiting for that opportunity. I know he broke the seal, got the monkey off his back early a couple of games ago. He got the first goal of the season. We're going to watch him like a hawk this year for what he's able to do to try to break that record from Wayne Gretzky. 5 shots last game, 6 shots the game before that one. He's firing the biscuit. Flyers, Wednesday night, Ovechkin, 4+ shots for my first pick. Second pick, John Carlson, anytime assist. He's been tremendous to start off the year on that blue line. We knew that he was going to a strong veteran in this league. He has an assist in all 4 games so far this season. All 4 games this season, 5 points on the year. He's got 1 goal. We're going with the John Carlson anytime assist. I mean, I also like, if you want to, put in the Ovechkin anytime goal with the 4+ shots, with the John Carlson assist. I like that very much in this game on Wednesday night. But my lock of the night, I'm going with the Capitals on the money line against the Philadelphia Flyers. They're 5-4-1 in their last 10 games. They play very strong at home. This is a back-to-back. And again, the goaltending duo in Washington is a lot better than the goaltending duo in Philadelphia, whether it's Logan Thompson or Charlie Lindgren. I have a lot more faith in those guys than I do in Urson and Fedotov for the Philadelphia Flyers. So I'm rocking with the Washington Capitals on Wednesday night, running it back. Like I said, Ovechkin 4+ shots, Carlson anytime assist, and the Capitals on the money line for my lock of the night. You can also throw in the anytime goal for Ovechkin if you're feeling a little spicy. Juice up those odds on Wednesday. We're feeling it. We're going back to back, 3 in a row, 3 hitting Wednesday night for big time bets. Thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Pod your first listen every single day. Make sure you go check out the Locked On NHL podcast for your second listen, where the season never ends, providing national expertise with a local perspective. You can find the link in the description below, so you don't even have to search for it. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. From both Flip and I know he's not here. We still wish you good luck with your bets, and we shall see you back here again tomorrow. Peace.